I just finished this book. I give it an 8 out of 10. Hi, I'm Jeffrey, physical therapist, and welcome to Life of a PT. One of my 2024 New Year's resolution was to read at least 6 books. I just finished my 3rd book. The first book was Lifespan, my second book was Mindset, and this third one was Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. I haven't read too many personal finance books, but I thought this one was a good one, a good introduction to it. It turned out to be a pretty easy read, and because of the short chapters and overall it was not very dense. Each chapter had a different theme, and each theme was clear cut and it really stood out. I will start by talking about some interesting points from the book, and I will end with talking about what I do personally in terms of investing. The content of this video is definitely not financial advice. Just want to put that disclaimer out there in case it wasn't already obvious. The author starts off the book by talking about the title, Psychology of Money, and how it is a soft skill. I find that very interesting because I do believe that soft skills is so important for anybody in any field, especially if you deal with people. Soft skills are traits that commonly involve communication, empathy, having flexibility, and critical thinking. Hard skills are the technical skills or knowledge required for the job. After being a PT for almost 6 years now, I can really see how soft skills can prevail over hard skills in many instances. Every decision people make with money is justified by taking the information they have at that moment and plugging it in their own mental model of how the world works. That's why it's very hard to take financial advice from people. Everyone's situations, upbringings, and values are very different, and that all contributes to how you view money individually. Did you know that the 401k did not exist until 1978, and the Roth IRA did not exist until 1988? That's a lot more recent than I would have thought. That's why money decisions are so difficult and why there's so many misbehavior surrounding money. This topic is still so new. We all do some crazy stuff with our money because we're still pretty new to the game. Nothing is as good or as bad as it seems. I think that's a good way to stay even keeled with your money. If you suddenly get a big raise or a big bonus, you don't want to switch up your routines and start spending like crazy. Think of the volatility of the stock market more as a fee rather than a fine, and that will keep you sticking around long enough, hopefully, to see the investing gains work in your favor. People are usually okay paying fees because you usually get something in return. Fees are like paying an entry fee, like a ticket to an amusement park. Fines have a negative connotation to it, so that's why people usually try to avoid it. Controlling your time is the highest dividend that money pays. Being able to do what you want, when you want, with whoever you want, for as long as you want, is priceless. As I grow older, I definitely start to see the truth in this. Wealth is what you don't see. Building wealth has little to do with your income or investment returns, but has lots to do with your saving rate. Living below your means is what's needed to save money and start building your wealth. It's very easy to reward yourself after you get a raise or when you first start working. I was guilty of this when I first got my first paycheck. I went out and got a Burberry jacket. It wasn't crazy expensive, but it was definitely not necessary. I don't even wear it much. In fact, I think it's already been donated to Goodwill. I'm not saying don't reward yourself from time to time, but just gotta be smarter with it. For me, naturally, with more responsibility, I've become more responsible with my money. Planning on your plan not going according to plan. Have emergency funds of about maybe 3 months of your salary saved. Don't have all your money invested, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Avoid the extremes of financial planning. The advice from the book was to aim for a moderate amount of annual savings, moderate amount of free time, moderate amount of time spent with family. Aiming for moderation increases your odds of sticking to a plan and avoiding regret because you're giving attention to all the things that are important to you and not just on one thing. So you're not missing out on too much in one area. Everyone's goals and financial situation is different. Investing in one stock at one moment might make sense for one person, but not for another. Just like the author's goals, my goal is to achieve independence be able to provide for my family, and basically live the life that I want. I use Fidelity for my investments. I have a 403b retirement account through my work. I have a Roth IRA, and I have an individual account. The Roth is where I invest in the S&P 500, and I try to max out my Roth IRA every year, since the money you invest in there is tax-free when you withdraw it out. That and compound interest will definitely work in your favor in the long run. The individual account is what I use to buy stocks that I think will have potential for at least a year. I'm not analyzing anything crazy, but I'm basically just looking at the trends and seeing what I feel is right. I do have a cap in terms of the amount I use for that individual account. So if I lose all the money in that account, then that's when I know I'll stop. I basically use what I've earned from selling the stocks to buy new ones, but there's no new money that I'm putting in. The rest of my money is either in a CD, a certificate of deposit, or a high yield savings account, earning the modest amount of 4 to 5% of returns. You definitely should not have your money in a traditional savings account, as you're not earning any interest. This will wrap up the video and book review. Hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something new. Comment below any questions you guys have and anything you want to talk about, what do you guys want to see in the future, and click here to watch my last vlog where I talk about how I deal with work stress.